Ooh, what is up, buds? Welcome to Weed&d, the pot positive live tabletop role-playing experience. I am your dungeon master for the night, Brandon Allen McClanahan, but my buds call me Bam. Oh my gosh, let me set this down so I don't break it. What a wonderful little couple weeks it's been, my friends. Thanks for hanging with us last week as we got into a little bit of like I said, a pretty common issue for dungeon masters, just showing off kind of one of the different ways you can handle if you can't have everybody at the table. It is the first time we've ever had that, and I gotta say personally, I missed me some Gus Langley, so I'm very happy to announce that he's back here with us. We have the full posse, and we are ready to get back on this freaking epic story. An epic story, which is now, this is our 50, we're calling last week 54.5, so this is Sesh 55, officially 5-5. I can't even believe it. It's absolutely insane to be this far along in the story at this point. If you didn't get a chance to hang with us last week, we did level up the Ferocious Five from level 9 to level 10. And we actually got a nice moment to kind of sit and talk about the characters in the story between DM and players at the same time. And honestly, like, it was just such a treat for me. If you didn't get a chance to catch us last week, that video is still here up on Twitch, or all of our videos are posted the following Friday at 4:20 p.m. over at youtube.com/ArtHeartStudios. Thanks to the community, the buds. You guys are seriously amazing. Just the hype that you guys have with the community and the show, and just, it lights my fire. So I genuinely just want to thank you guys. Just like all the care and love and attention and art that goes into this little project is like, it just lights my fire all through the week. So thanks so much to you guys who do such a huge part. You know, it's like, yeah, we put the story together and everything, but I don't want to like undercut just how valuable the effort of our community is. The fact that you guys are so welcoming whenever new people come in, the fact you show up pretty much every single week and keep our communities going so much. Like, genuinely, I know there's like a lot of like, I'm a creator, I want to thank my community, but like, genuinely, like, as a human being, it means the world to me that you guys would do anything for this little piece of magic. And it just means the world to me that we've built this kind of wonderful little group of people. And I can't wait to keep building it. So 55 down, 5,555 to go. I had a strict 5,600 episode thing. That's 5610. You know what I meant when I said it. But yes, holy crap, guys. Things are firing along here in the studio. We are, like I said, there's some pretty big announcements shift coming here probably toward the end of summer. But as I have more details on those fun things, holy crap, definitely, if you are not a member of our Discord right now, there's gonna be a little link over there. Come over, like, just come hang out in the Discord. We got art in there being contributed. Jake actually dropped this amazing glorp piece in the art channel in the Discord. So that's a place where you'll get a kind of early access to some of the art. I drop my maps in there and stuff like that. So if you want to, get a little more familiar with some of the other art and everything that's going on in this show, we're dropping stuff over there all the time. So that's enough for me about this community. My favorite thing about this entire show, obviously, is playing Dungeons & Dragons with 5 of my favorite human beings in the world. But in order to do that, I've got to pass this little joint here through the magical fibers of the interweb to my dear and wonderful friend, Brenna Folger. Hey, Brenna. How you doing, girl?
I'm doing great. I'm doing real good. Brenna Folger here. Prince Bruenor, the Serpent, the Serpent Slayer, level 10, the Cavalier baby. And I am ready for tonight. And guess what? My favorite planet is Neptune. Fucking love that shit. Fucking love it. Got totally shadowed by Pluto, getting ousted. Neptune's out there too, baby. Neptune's out there too. Abby, what are you up to?
Ooh, I'm just chilling. Abby Dandy, aka Tynna Smoothhands around these parts. Man, planets. I've always been fond of Uranus. What about you, Drew?
Jesus. All right. Thank you for that. What's up, y'all? Drew. Thoricus the dwarf. Level 10. Papa's getting old and fucking bulky. Triple-digit hit points, y'all. What? Favorite planet? Fucking the sun, because it's like the king of planets, Am I right?
You're not.
You're not.
Hey, buddy.
It's a star. You're not.
It's a star?
But we love you. But you're a star. That's what I said.
All right. New favorite planet. Captain Planet. He's our hero. Gonna take pollution down to 0.
No
You're
pollution.
never my best friend. Airdropping it.
Ooh.
You get it?
I did. So after I spilled all my shit last time, I installed like a little shelf. So.
Oh no, I put a parachute on it this time.
Oh, best friend. That's too kind of you, I swear. You're going to take weed spillage down to 0. I love you for it. And I love all you guys. Hey, so glad you're here for episode 55. And since we're the Ferocious Five, it's, it's going to be a banger. Jake Taylor here is Real Authorvon, the level 10 Arcane Trickster Rogue. Favorite planet, no doubt, since I was a kid, Jupiter. Don't know why, just gravitated to Jupiter. Always loved it. And hey, you know what else I love is this familiar face up here, who we very much missed last week. Gus with your fancy fucking hat. How you doing, buddy?
Yo, thank you very much, Jake. Appreciate it. It's your boy Gus, Two Blunts Langley over here. Happy to be back. Missed everybody very much. And my favorite planet is Saturn because it's the only one that has the balls to wear accessories. You know what I mean? That being said, I'm going to pass things back to Bam.
Ooh, comes back every single time. All right, favorite planet. Kind of put me on blast here. All right, I gotta go. I'm gonna give you the answer, but it's kind of I'm lying a little bit. My favorite planet is Jupiter, not because of fucking Jupiter. Jupiter could suck a dick. Jupiter and Bulbasaur can go fuck themselves. However, Jupiter's moon, Europa. I mean, there could be life there. There's frozen oceans. There's some pretty amazing things to be found, though. So Jupiter, because I like Europa so much, Jupiter's going to be my favorite planet. I guess my answer should have been what my favorite moon was, but here we are. And there's no going back now. So we got a little ritual we like to do around here. Maybe you've heard about it, maybe you haven't, but we like to take a little lighter, like this little D20 lightning bolt lighter that I got right here. Make sure we're not, Brenna's got it too. Make sure we're not going to light any of our friends, family, or household pets on fire and go. Lighters up. Let's play some of that good D&D.
WeeDnD, high fantasy, literally for you and me. So load up bowl and make a roll to take control. WeeDnD.
All right, man, that intro gets me every single time. If you will, please allow me to set the mood. Forgot I didn't have the right song pulled up. When last we left the Ferocious Five, they reacquainted with the town and townsfolk of the city of Amarella. Tynna sought connection to her lady within the church of Shantia, laying eyes on the visage of the Green Mother for the first time. Rial scanned the town to see if word of the 10,000 gold piece bounty on Bruenor had yet reached Amarella. Finding no sign it had, he too asked for guidance at the life goddess's altar. In a trance, he heard the warm voice of the fallen Martha Goutshire, assuring him that they are, indeed, on the right path. Divit crafted a set of rings from the sleeves of the Robe of Eyes, a gift to be remembered by when his time inevitably runs out. Thoricus eschewed his beloved nap and took the opportunity to teach the Burakan youth the value of acceptance, honor, and water slides. Nearby, Bruenor and Brian the Dracodile floated in the cool waters of the river of Amarella, reaffirming their bond. It was with a heavy heart that Brian revealed his knowledge gleaned from the broker of secrets, Kurtulok. The Ferocious Five are not the Five of the Shekinda prophecy, as they had previously been led to believe. It was then that Glorp arrived on the scene, feeding his curiosity about what would have been in a battle between the Bodak Aeromastus, and had it play out for his amusement and understanding. All of the five were returned unharmed to the village of Amarella, save Divit, whose body still remained lost in time. All right, guys, we jump back in. Divit, You see the last few moments in a blur. You were sitting in the village of Emerella, fumbling the eye rings that you were prepared to give to your allies, recently forged with Hipoko the sack, as you guys took some of the cloth from these magic, the sleeves of your magic robe of eyes, and made them into a keepsake for your allies. A keepsake which, if you'll recall, the eyes from all of these rings are always focused on you. You see yourself kind of looking down at the ring, moving it around, watching as the eye follows you, like the eyes of a painting of a picture. They're just always seem to be focused on you. Now, Divot, suddenly you look up and you notice Rial coming out of the church, a very concerned look upon his face. Looking at Rial, the journey thus far has certainly aged him. Once a little bit, not to define him as naive, but new to the experiences of the world. These last arduous few weeks, the truth of some of his nature, the coming face to face with Synthesis as you and he flew through the realms in your journey through the scrying pool waters. You notice that strain on his face as he comes out. Some of even though he's washed himself, some of the burn marks from the ashes of Esmeralda still remain on his face, almost as if he leaves them there on purpose rather than rinsing them away to remind him of his actions that have led him to this point so far. And as you kind of look at the details on his face, you see him looking at Bruenor and Brian floating in the waters. You see Brian's 10-foot frame, his giant green dragon wings sticking out entirely of the water, but the rest of his, 10-foot long crocodile body floats submerged under the water. You can just see kind of right near the top of the river, the kind of green kelp that is Bruenor's hair when she's actually in the water, floating kind of majestically around her as they both float in this rivery, connection between the two of them. And then Divot, as you look at Rial, he freezes in place. You start looking around at the village of Emerella, the mixed cultures of the Burakan people and the city of the forest town of Emerella kind of clashing in stark juxtaposition, as on one side of the city you have like the horns and fangs and battle tents, and on the other side you have kind of the quiet, peaceful, quaint city that it always has been, before the attacks of the green dragon Harnax. But you look around and you notice, Divot, that the leaves falling out of the trees have frozen. The water itself that's running settles to a stop. Bruenor's kelp hair floating in the water freezing. You kind of look around for a moment, and you realize that only you are moving, Divot. You hear this voice from far away. Hello! You look around. You notice suddenly Rial, nobody else but just Rial, comes back to life in this moment in time. He turns to the right, and you see an electric green door appear. You see Rial's mouth moving. You see the green cloud of glorp glowing, but you hear none of what's going on between them. In fact, for a moment, Divot, you suddenly realize you hear nothing at all. Your skeletal, bony fingertips, you kind of, snap just to see if you can create any sound, and there is none. And you hear a voice you haven't heard in a long time. Hello, Divot. I think it's time we had a little talk. And as you see Rial kind of like walking around, grabbing his head, looking confused at the door, looking back at his frozen friends, trying to conceive of what to do, you see, Divot, he grabs your body and like picks you up. And he pulls the physical form of you away from the spirit of yourself. He like sets your body down to the side as Rial tests if he can move you in this in-between place as he's having his encounter with Glorp. You notice that even though your body has moved, your spirit still stands there. You look through the green doorway of Glorp's that has opened, and beyond the Chaos Realm, you see the familiar sight of Death, the robed figure of Death, the red skull, now regrown since your last, encounter where he literally ripped the piece of his skull out and put it on your face. The red mask of Death sits, but rather than the high, straightened back, the strength and dark power that you always felt when you were in his presence, you see him sat almost listlessly, just kind of slouched in his chair, looking forward, beckoning you with his red skeletal fingertips. Divot, you kind of feel the call, the thing, those acorns, each of them independently, buzzing inside of your stomach. You feel that great call. Your warlock patron asks you to come speak to him. Do you wish to go?
Indeed I do.
All right. As you start walking through the door, you see the green glowing cloud of Glorp starts glowing, and his mouth gets wide in a big circle, and all this air starts sucking in your friends and allies. You watch as your body gets sucked into this realm away from you. You see as, Bruenor, Thoricus, Tynna, having just come out of a bath, strangely still in full plate armor, if she's to be believed. You see the rest of your allies sucked into this green chaos plane, and as you step through the door, Divit, you realize you're kind of like stepping over the realm of chaos. You look below your feet as they stand, not on air, or not on solid surface, but on the air above them. You look down, you can actually see the entire planet of the globe of confusion, this big spinning orb. And you watch as your allies are trying to catch their feet. You see your lifeless body just frozen there, doing nothing. You kind of continue over, walking over the expanse of the plane of confusion, and you see the long stone staircase that leads up to death. You feel as your feet finally make contact with the gray stone, you feel a coldness reach through your bones that you haven't felt in a while. As your skin is starting to kind of rot away, your nervous system is starting to fade with it. And so sensations like brutal cold and hot heat and things like that are starting to get outside of your, experience in the world. And so you feel as your feet touch the cold stone steps, you feel this icy chill flush over you, almost as if, the blade, the cool breeze, was activated and your whole body matched that icy energy. You feel your foot step, and suddenly you watch the world of confusion fade away. You're standing once more at the bottom of the long gray stone staircase. You look up and you see Death as described previously, his hood still hanging over him, his red mask. Even though it's a skeleton and has no features, you sense a sorrow coming from him, Divit. And as you put your second foot on the step and you hear kind of the echo of your skeletal bony feet touching the air, you feel a bit of a madness in the air around you. Not so strong as the Feywild where you were being taken over by, but there was always such a complete control in the realm of death. And you start looking around, and you see all these wispy spirits just popping up, wailing. You see like almost a half zombie, half human face stretch in front of you, scream in torment, and then dissolve away. You count, Divit, thousands of these strange wisps of souls and spirits, almost as if they're running amok. You see, sitting at the long top of the stone staircase, the master of those spirits, who seems disinterested at them in this time. Divit, what do you do?
Sensing the profound sadness and knowing that I have sometimes been on good terms and sometimes been on bad terms with my patron, I realize something that I had forgotten. When we encountered all of those mushrooms, one of them took a liking to me and rode along. It had a strange affinity for sadness, and I promised it that if it came with me, I would show it sadness that it had never seen before. And I see the way the patron looks right now, the way Death looks right now, and I reach into my hat and I pull the little blue flubber-looking mushroom out of the hat and see what happens.
So Divit, like you said, it kind of like tucked itself at the back of your neck, and just so comfortably did it sit there for so long, it hasn't really been of recourse to you. You reach back, and rather than like grabbing it and pulling it away, you kind of offer your hand to it, and it, slowly kind of pools as a liquid, kind of like a blue flubber, it kind of pools into your hand. You sense that sadness floating around, it's something that even in your, dying state, as your body decays, sadness is something you're quite familiar with. And you watch as kind of this amorphous kind of ooze floats around in your hand, and it shapes itself back into a little blue mushroom. You see the little pulses of sadness. Now that it's only by itself, not with the millions of the others, it's just a small little pulse. But you can feel as the little blue magic energy echoes off of this mushroom. As it touches your skin, your sorrows are starting to be drawn to the tip of your bones. And so this sorrow mushroom still has this you pulled it from the plane of sadness itself. And so you do feel this kind of pulsing sadness in your hand, Divit. And you see it looks up at you and does little more than cry. Oh, 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 with each ping of sadness.
Death, I offer you this dark passenger to keep you company. You are mighty, but you seem lonely.
Wow, Divit, that was an apt observation. I'm sorry, I don't mean to break the scene there, but that is a very apt observation. So yes, sorry, that took me out of it for a second. that was dope. Yes. Divit, you look up at the staircase and you see as you mention the fact that he is sad, he sits up a little straighter in his chair. He looks down at you. You're probably 40 steps away from him down this great expanse. You feel the distance between you and he, almost like a mirroring of the strange distance that's grown between you two since the last time you talked. Remember, the last time you were here, he was angry with you for having died again. It was like that you were not supposed to be back, and that you have this destiny, and he wanted you to be continuing on that rather than dealing with him. And you see as you speak of this sadness, his skeletal arm, the red skeleton hand of his reaches forward, and you watch the bone just stretch down the length of the 40 stairs. And it reaches out to you. Can you truly comprehend sadness, Divit? Do you know what it is like? And as you see the mushroom as he starts admitting this kind of sorrow, you see the mushroom starts melting back into that liquid into his palm. Do you understand the sadness of delivering a gift whose bounty you will never receive? You see as the hollow pits of his skull eyes stare at this sad mushroom in his hand. You watch it shoot up the long stretch of the 40-foot skeleton arm. And it just slides super quick and cleanly. You watch it absorb in through his mouth. And then in the dark pits of his skull eyes, you see these two blue, sad pupils appear. Crystal blue, like the waters, of the plane of sadness. You see he looks down on you, and suddenly the stairs between the two of you, Divit, start shifting up. You don't need to move to walk forward. They move at your feet. And you notice now, almost as you're going higher in this space, as you look, these spirits that are kind of wandering around in chaos go on infinitely. What was once thousands is now tens of thousands. And as you get even higher, closer to the robed visage of the red mask of death, you look out and there's just an expanse of lost and wild souls all around you. You land in front of death at last, maybe 3 steps away from him. And he leans forward. You hear the creaking of his bones, the grinding of the stone against his great frame as he leans forward. Divit, could you ever understand sorrow? A genuine question.
I believe with each passing day, I'm getting closer to understanding it, but I don't claim to have any of the perspective that you have.
You are but one river, Divit. I am the ocean. My tears fall and land not on the ground, but they drift around. My home has become my prison, and I seek to be here no longer. I grow tired of the affairs of mortal beings. I grow sick of your wars, your meaningless disputes. But mostly, I grow tired of the hatred. The balance of life and death is precarious but important. And it's being ripped away from me. Perhaps I should leave it. Leave it to you. You see, he looks at you, and as his eyes kind of fall on you, you feel those blue welling pupils land on you, and you watch as one of them actually turns into a small blue tear. Just, dropping down, electric blue against the stark red of the bone skull mask of death. What of you, Divit? Do you understand our purpose now? Have you learned from your journey?
You called me a river, and you referred to yourself as the ocean. But something I learned a long time ago is that rivers lead to the sea. Tell me what I need to know in order to become a dark ocean like you.
So he kind of looks over and you see, you watch the blue pupils darting around and just looking at all these wild souls bouncing around in this weave of chaos, a realm once more controlled. You are not quite yet ready, Divit. But your spirit is ready. It seems you have learned the truth of our arrangement. I kept these details not from you to trick you, but to help you realize that your life, this one life, is meaningless in the spectrum of things. I have known 1,000 like you. I have watched them all fall, unable to complete their mission.
Hey, let me tell you one thing, King. You ain't never met anybody like me. You can believe that, baby.
You see, he looks down on you, and you feel almost a sense of pride emanating from the great stone throne of death. I believe you may be right. I gave you your mission for a reason, Divit. You must kill one you love. I don't know why. I have been removed from things for so long. I have forgotten what love feels like. Perhaps I am jealous, envious of those who carry a burden that I cannot comprehend. But perhaps you will bridge it. Help them see the way. It's all drawing to an end, Divit. You see, he kind of leans back into the chair and begins looking around. And Divit, you start getting that feeling of the expanse, as you and Rial had floated through once before. Not just the Primaterial Plane, nor the Shadowfell, nor the Feywild, but the entire expanse of reality before you. The spinning wheel of Sigil, the planes of elemental chaos. You start kind of feeling that same energy draw in the world around you. So many players at play, all seeking to change the rules in their benefit. Myself included, I suppose. Divit, you must do what seems foolish. The only way for you to turn the tide in what is to come is to help the Queen of Ice and Shadow. She is the only one who can stop Achaeus, Sithis, Queen Titania, and Greyland Faragor. You see him looking around, and you start watching Divit, almost like this projection of a screen lays out in front of you. And you start watching like the realms, the different expanses, almost like a multiverse laid out in front of you. You watch as one is consumed in great flame. You watch one as the world itself is consumed from the great oceans. You see one where the blood wars are ended and the devils are no longer to keep the demons of the chaos realm at bay. You see the shadow destroying everything that life is, nothing more, for no other reason than absolute chaos. It's almost like you're watching every potential end to every potential reality all at once. It's too much for you to comprehend, Divit. But as you feel yourself connecting with death, as he really sees the swell of this infinity in front of him, you start to feel that connection between you and he as the 3 acorns beat inside you. Do, 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 do. And you see little different heartbeats affecting each of these realities different ways. You see him. I see no way, Divit, that there can be a good end to this. But you can decide to do it your way. Ask me what you will. I grow tired of this place. He looks around, and you just see him kind of get lost again. The blue, sorrowful eyes dancing at the souls on the horizon.
I don't have a lot of time now, and I know that. And we got a lot of loose ends to tie up. And I just plead with you to give me the power to help my friends.
He looks down at you. Your friends. Such a trivial concept. All damned. All of your time will end, yet you cling to each other, trying to make it mean something. I envy you, Divit. I shall grant you more of my favor. And you see he reaches his hands out, and they kind of reach down the gaps of the 3 stone steps, Divit, and for a moment, as his bony hands touch your shoulders, it's like taking the deepest breath of air after you've been drowning under the water. You see the multiple instances of all these different endings and realities, and for one moment, you can kind of understand the concept he's trying to get through to you from his alien and immortal brain into your mortal frame. You realize, Divit, that everything is doomed. All of these cycles will continue to repeat themselves over and over and over again. The magic items that you guys find in the realm of men's come from fallen civilizations from times before, where men reached too close to the gods. This cycle keeps repeating and repeating and repeating itself, and you can only imagine as you for a brief second can feel what the expanse of eternity feels like. How mind-numbingly boring that must be for death. And that he's never, there's no respect or understanding of this quest that he has. People fear death. They run away from death. They cheat death and brings beings back from being dead. They steal the only power that he has from him through divine magics or necromancy. Or, he just watches as people bend these things, all in the name of something he can never understand. And so Divit, in this surge, this force, you feel that power of death kind of fill the gaps where your lungs used to be. Divit, you feel as the power, the force of your will is increased. The source of your magic burns ever brighter as you feel that, that level up. You feel your charisma start burning within yourself. Divit, you now at reaching level 10, going a level 4 in Warlock, have reached a level 20 charisma. So your force of will is as strong as a being on the material plane can be without the aid of magic. And so you feel that energy burning in your hands. What do?
I turn to Death and I say, Death, I know that you've forgotten what it's like to have a friend, but you've given me more than anyone else ever has. And I consider you to be one of my closest friends. It's funny.
Still
in the end, you're gonna be the only one I have left.
You see, his arms are set on your shoulders. His body loomed over you. He's so big in this expanse in front of you. You see, he looks at you, and again you watch from the other eye as one of those blue tears starts streaming down his face. and you feel as he draws you into himself. And you feel like a great shadow just wrapping around your body, and you feel the skeletal arms of death embrace you. You feel the blue mushroom pour out of his eye sockets, turning into a little pile of blue liquid once more. And as he hugs you, you feel it slide back over behind your neck. Suddenly, he pulls away. You feel the shadow unwrap your body as he looks down on you. Interesting. Interesting. You see he looks away, and you feel the stone stairs Divot start drawing you away. You know, you're kind of like, you reach out to him again as this embrace kind of falls away. You do have a moment to say anything. Do you want to say anything to him before you're kind of pulled out of this place?
I just want to say that the exception proves the rule, and that just like everything else, nothing is forever.
You know, Divot, you kind of like, you stop letting the stairs pull you away, and now with this new force of will, you simply think of yourself, and that burning fire energy lifts you off the steps. You're now floating in this void around nowhere. You see some of the wisps start kind of like turning and looking at you as you float in this space. As you deliver those words, rather than being removed from this plane, you allow yourself to leave. You kind of just float yourself backward through this, you know, bubble realm between you and the plane of elemental chaos. You turn around, you're just kind of floating in the air. You know, you feel now removed from death's plane. That power cosmic has kind of escaped your fingertips. Now you're starting to understand your strength is strongest in the realm of death. That connection between you and he, you know, you felt, to use a D&D term, you felt like a 20th level character in there. You know, and now some of the powers that you drew upon in your battle with Glacius may start to make sense as you start realizing that, like, your power source derives from another place entirely now. You turn around.
Am I out of earshot of death now?
Yes, you kind of pop into the plane of confusion. You're floating over the spinning orb.
Oh, oh, that guy is so intense.
Oof, man, yeah, Divot, you're just like shaking it off. You know, you just hugged death. So, you know, there's a little bit of an experience there. You've got those creeping heebie-jeebies from just the source of anti-life himself, and you're just kind of like, and you look down and you're like, what the crap? And you notice you're looking down, and instead of the spinning globe of the plane of confusion, the whole globe has stopped, and there's just this like hyper focus on this little pinpoint of area. You kind of force your will down toward it, and you see the den of Zulithax, as you have before, the giant skull of Cassentius. You see your own skeleton standing in the mouth. You see the whirring blades of Thoricus, Onyxheart, Bruenor, the Theseaserpent, cutting off the shadowy hands of the strange shadow creature Aeromastus as he strangles the life out of your sister. You see the hands cut away as Rial Othravon, the Shadow Piercer, pierces the veil of shadow around his body. You see it peel away as long as the connection to the Shadowfell, it all rips away like peeling a Band-Aid. And they are left in this expanse. You look down, and your body's just floating in this void. Completely unmoving, just like, suddenly you look down at your allies. They're all like looking at where the skull is. They notice that you're gone, and you're just kind of watching your body float by. What do you do?
I try to jump back in that bitch.
You're like, you know, you grab it by the pinky toe. As it's starting to float away, you kind of pull it over to yourself. Divot, you know, and kind of jump into it, like unsure of how to reform your spirit with your body. Go ahead and give me a, actually, I like this. Give me a charisma check. Let's see this hot 20 charisma, baby. Give me a charisma save.
All right. A little bit of the charisma.
Oh! One he rolls.
Shit crit.
Oh, shit crit. Oh, you know what? This is fitting. I have the big skull ball. For a Divot shit crit. I might have to keep this handy nearby. All right, louder than. All right. A shit crit, my friend. Divot, you jump into your body, and you feel like you're not in control of it as so much as like holding on to it from the inside. Suddenly you hear the words of Glor. Okay! You see that green door reopens. All of you are sucked inside. Even you, Divot. You know, you feel like as you first start falling, your body starts like floating away from you, and you're like, and you have to like grab onto it as you get sucked through this door. Divot, you see everybody lands back in the city of Amarella. Tynna, you know, soaking wet, some water dropping off of her, still frozen in time. Bruenor floating in the river. Thoricus holding a child in the air, getting ready to go down the water slide. Divot, you see your body frozen in time, and suddenly, Rial, you start looking around at your hands. Wait a minute, you look around, and at the same time, you and Divot both watch all of time catch back up. Bruenor, you're floating in the water. Tynna, you're like looking out the door. You know, this moment of all of you just kind of like strangely interrupted, hanging in this moment. Rial, you turn and you look, and Divot is unmoving. Divot, you look below you, and Rial is trying to get the attention of your body. What do you guys do?
I'm gonna give them bones a shake, just to try and. I mean, I have no idea. But
Rial, when you touch Divot's body, Divot, you start feeling that frequency of the heartbeat. And it's like echoing through your body and then into your spirit. You know, as Rial's touching you, you feel your connection to your body getting closer still. You're not quite able to get back into it, but you think there might be something in this. Divot, as you look down, as Rial's touching you, kind of trying to shake you out of it, you hear the heartbeat.
guys, Divot's not moving.
Shit, guys. I am
Someone
dead.
block a punch.
I'm in the water, Brian, because I'm reattuning. Brian, wait, what? Hold on. What?
What?
Poke my head out of the water.
All right, yeah, you guys see
I'm
it.
leaving the inn and I make my way in and I hear that and I hear Rial say that and I'm like, what? Also?
And then I'm going down a water slide with a child in my hands and I say, what?
You just toss him. Huh? Yeah, no, you all, you kind of like come out of these little personal moments that you were all having as you re-engaged with the city around you. Sorry for my creaky chair. You see like Rial shaking the body of Divit, who just seems unresponsive. You can all kind of run over there.
Yeah, I make eye contact with Brian real quick as if to be like, okay, like we're gonna put a pin in this. We're coming back to it later, and get out of the water. And I shove Divot.
Nice. Yeah, you kind of like run up and like, puh, and you just give him like a good shove. Do you want to like do the shove attack, or are you just trying to give him a good slappy dap?
If I shove him, yeah, because he'll fall onto his butt.
Yeah, you'll just knock him prone. There's no damage.
Yeah, done.
Yeah, you would have advantage because he's not defending himself.
Right.
Sorry, dude.
Let me see here. This is I don't know if I put that in on my.
Oh, it would just be a strength basically, yeah, against his AC. Like so, yeah, you would just roll a d20
Perfect.
and add your strength modifier.
Oh, not like a strength saving throw, or a.
No, because that would have. Oh no, because if you're proficient, that would matter. So yes, a strength saving throw works just as well.
Hee.
That was funny.
I shove him for 19.
You check this fool. You see the body of Divot. Almost just like, bink, like there's nothing resists at all. You just shove him and you hear his body thud on the ground. Divot, you watch as Bruenor just pushes you over. You're laying on the ground, just kind of floating over him.
Can I have procured the potions out of his hands so those don't break?
Yes.
Before he Family Guy falls. It's like, whoa! I hear Bruenor coming. I'm like, oh!
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's kind of like being in a mosh pit, right? Just gotta wake him up real quick. Wow.
Yeah, Divot, between the start jolt of someone pushing you to the ground, as well as the heartbeat connection to synthesis. You see as Rial kind of like first going to hug you, you think to catch your body, and then you see his hands like slip onto the bundle and bags of potions. And as you fall, he's like, "Ooh, good, they didn't break." You land on the ground. Divit, go ahead and give me another charisma saving throw.
All right, bet.
If this doesn't work, I have a plan. It may or may not involve joshing.
Well, now I don't want it to work. All right, so yes, you do see, Bruenor, you knock him on the ground, and you notice when his back hits, he goes, and Divot, for a brief second, you kind of feel yourself go like, and like almost slide into your body and slide back out.
No!
Yeah, for a brief moment, I was filled by the spirit of the Josh.
Well, then we
I was
all...
like,
Yeah, that seemed to work, Bruno.
Josh, let's start joshing him, and I'm gonna try to josh him.
Josh.
19!
That's a killer, Josh.
Yes.
Absolutely, guys.
I'm just
So,
getting him, taking him.
as you have so many times before, you start joshing around a dead body. And you started going, but this time, man, it just clicks. You've all had a little bit of time to yourselves. You've had a little time to self-reflect, and as nice as it felt to be away from all these people, you're back together again. The five are all, gathered around a crazy thing. One of your friends is sucked away to another place. Gosh, this keeps happening to you. You start shaking his body around like, come on, Rial came back, like Divit didn't. And Tynna, you start kind of, like pushing around a little bit too. And you see that glowing light from your hand, this new connection to Shantia. You're swelling with divine energy now. As the combination of the heartbeat of synthesis from within Rial beats at you, Divot. As the divine light, you feel that river of divine energy flowing toward you. As you feel that jovial energy of Bruenor, like the proficient one of you at joshing. Nobody strikes the mood quite as well as Bruenor. And then this overwhelming sense of protection, this leader that you get from Thoricus, Onyxheart, this general in the battlefield of sorts, that presence suddenly all around you. You feel the scream, the cry of the Raka, within. And it's like the combination of the four energies of your friends and allies, similar to Rial when beckoned from the other place. You watch as basically like an opening to within your own body opens itself back up to you, Divot, if you choose to go inside.
With our powers combined.
yeah, indeed I do. I hop up in that hidey hole.
You kind of like slide into your own body, and as the joshing vibes go, and you feel yourself being pushed around, and you hear like some of the Burakan children kind of like, "What's going on over there? This is strange." And you hear Al be like, "What?" You guys are just shaking this little kid or little Divot, and finally, Divot, you come back into your body. You are all regained once more inside the village of Emerella.
Woo!
Thought we lost you there for a minute, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
I'm really glad you're back.
Me too. Nothing a little joshing could fix.
Yeah.
And I stand up and I predator shake his hand and help him up.
Uh-oh. You hear the predator handshake as it executes in perfect. You like I said, you're proficient in predator handshakes at this point, Bruenor. You get to add your proficiency bonus. So you guys just hear the clap. You just pull him right up. Divot is, as his body deteriorates, you are very strong, Bruenor. You just kind of
He weighs nothing.
Yeah,
I'm
you kind of yank him too hard, like, oops, and set him back down.
Sorry.
Once he's on his feet, I want to mage hand one of his blunts and put it in his little rotten teeth, and then bonfire light it for him. Because man, it's good to have him back. You got to get him comfortable again.
Man after my own heart.
Yes, Divot.
this
The last you're getting pretty low on your original blunts. You might have to go to that Trufel tobacco here pretty soon. But your remaining stash, you see as Rial boop, boop, lights one up for you.
Doesn't work quite at first. Like that. Bonfire's up. Hey,
My man.
Bonfire.
Bonfires?
Bonfires.
Wait, I don't do magic.
You can start a
So-
bonfire though.
Bonfire's up.
What? Are you okay, man? Was it too hot outside, or you? What
No,
happened?
never better. I just got stuck for a second.
How'd you get stuck down there?
Damn, where?
I just like shake it off, like, nah, nothing really. Like, what? I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Now, Rial, again, we kind of I hate to jump in, but so of the thing that happened, you all saw. Rial, you're the only one that knows. You saw Divit walking away toward death. Do with that what you will. Obviously, I'm not trying to push it. I just want to remind you because it was a little bit removed from now. So you did, in your vision of this thing that happened with Glorp, this weird dream scenario, you did watch Divit kind of walk away and go toward death. You, again, Rial, are the only one that's aware of the battle with Aramastis or any of that stuff that just occurred.
Mm-hmm. And he just got back. I'm not gonna start throwing shit on him, but I do want to give him like a knowing look. He's always been charismatic enough to pick up on signals, so I'll at least kind of eye the red mask of death a little bit more specifically and kind of.
You know, there's that moment, Divit, where the heartbeat of Synthesis is still so loud, you're not yet suppressed by you, you know, and you hear that. And you can't help but notice kind of a crooked eye look at you coming from the body of the man who the heartbeat emanates from. So you know Rial kind of knows something's up, but it appears in this moment you're both, you know, cool, keeping it between you guys. But you hear, you know, in that moment as you kind of look him and both of you have this nice eye contact, you suppress the heartbeat back into the, you know, push it down into the stomach where you can palate not killing Rial, even though every atom in your body wants to.
Yeah, I saw that he wasn't frozen too. I don't know what happened, but I know something weird with him.
Exactly. Actually, yes, that's a very good point, Divit. You're like, well, interesting. You're not saying anything either. You know, you guys are kind of like eyeballing each other.
Watching them just staring at each other for a minute, we go, so Tynna, how was your bath?
It was really nice. Wow, thank you for asking. I feel really refreshed. What are we feeling like doing, guys? I could make us some food. We could hang out a little bit, or what do you think?
Yo, I look down and see all the rings in my hands that I had on me. And I look around at everybody. And usually I'm one for words, but for some reason, talking to death kind of tapped me out. And I look around to everybody and I just kind of meekly say, like, no big deal. I had these made for everybody.
What? Divit?
I would like to walk over to the rest of the group, since I'm not over there.
You're like, what are they doing?
And I just want to walk up and say, okay, what's going on? I had to throw a child off of a water slide to get here.
Oh,
So
no.
this better be good.
You just see some kid like sticking out of his tree, like, ah.
Thoricus's ring is a little bit bigger, so it's like either a cock ring or it goes on his weapon.
Either or, but not both.
I like options, bro.
With some
I like
creative play. So yeah, you guys, you know, as you may recall from this making, you know, Divit has basically made almost like a marble-eyed ring that's set for each of you. Those of you, I mean, once you hold it, it's hard to deny. You know, as you
Can I show y'all what it looks like?
Oh, please do.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Shit, oh
please.
shit.
Yes.
Oh, damn. Damn.
There it is. That's what it looks like. And you all notice as you kind of, you know, take this kind of awkward, you know, it's kind of a strange moment as Divit just kind of hands you these. You notice that the pupil on the eye is always looking at Divit. Tynna, you have kind of a weird, uncomfortable moment where you notice that the purple eye of Tynna, you know, of Tynara, not Tynara, dang it,
Mithra.
Mithra, of Mithra is staring at you. You know, and so it's like right now you're just like watching one eye stare at you while this eye stares at Divit. It's just there's just like a strange little moment in it.
I feel seen.
Yes, the piercing, you know, amethyst-colored eye of your former lover, now Tyrannosaurus Rex Snack, is kind of always around. You know, hard to easy to forget, but hard not to notice when you kind of tune in on the moment. So yeah, you guys are kind of standing there. Sorry, Tin, I didn't move you over there either.
Oh no. I got it.
Right now, the map is not super important. But yeah, so you guys are all kind of gathered around. You see like everybody's kind of interested in the going-ons of the the 5 heroes and what they're doing. But as far as like you see the original energy of the city, the kind of the calm mountain breeze that washes through and bounces off the cliffs of the Malachite Mountains that stand in the back of it, the autumn and green trees around you. It seems like the vibe here has gotten back to normal. The soldiers are training out, beyond the bridge. You see, you hear them training down the forest fields. Some of the civilians in town, you see the kids running around, still playing on the water slide. Thoricus leaving isn't going to stop them from playing on their water slides. But you see kind of a nice moment where the children of both tribes, the Rockin children and the Emerellan children, are all enjoying the water slide together. So this connection that you guys, this strange gap that you've tried to heal, seems to have already been bolstered by your presence, as the children do what children do best.
Be exhausting.
You did the medieval equivalent to popping a fire hydrant for him, so they wildin'.
Everyone wins.
Best day ever.
And I heard something about food or hanging out and talking about stuff. I think Tynna may have said something.
Yeah, I was.
Are we about to barbecue?
You do have, just a reminder, the bartender from the Dancing Dragon had offered to give you guys food. He started cooking food for you, Tynna, when you and Emily had left. So remember, he offered you guys like a nice full meal down there as well.
Well, if you're hungry, I know a guy, and he's got something cooking. So yeah.
Cool.
Figure we could use the fuel.
Cool. Yeah.
And as I, like, right before I say that, I'm kind of like sliding the ring onto my finger and, just kind of sitting in all the eyes and all the seeingness of it all. And I'm going to put it on the same finger that I have my ring of protection on. And I'm just going to kind of notice how they look together.
Nice, yeah. You see the giving hands set out to this eye underneath. Tynna, this balance between you and your brother, which once was so hostile, it was tough. It created a strain in your relationship with each other. Both as you have both grown in power, that bubble between you, you're starting to mesh. You're starting to understand how the forces of life and death are not opposite forces that battle each other like light and darkness, but life and death are very much part of the same weave. And so it's a lesson that is showed to you in double as you look down on your finger and see this eye that leads you to look at him as the giving hands, the benevolent of the ring of benevolence, kind of shine nearby. It's like the whole picture, the yin yang is right there on your very finger.
Ooh.
I take that in, but I'm not gonna deny anybody food, so let's get going.
Yeah, the door of the Dancing Dragon Inn is still open from where Kumal kind of drunkenly spilled out. You actually see there's still like a little vomit on the sand, not like anybody's like running by to clean it up real quick or anything.
I could prestidigitate that away before anybody notices.
You guys are like, yeah. So actually at this point, Kumal, you remember Tynna, you set him in that suite on the south side of town. He's sleeping it off right now. You guys go into the Dancing Dragon Inn. You see Emily, the child that you had that wonderful afternoon with in nature. Again, rather than like a slave to her duties, you see her very happily going about helping Cephas, make this grand feast. And like I said, Tynna, Cephas is also a follower of Shantia, and so that magic that comes when you start on the cooking pot, that magic of yours where you can help people like taste memories and familiar smells and feelings. You can kind of see that magical whir as you're so close to the Church of the Green Lady. You see it going into the food that he's preparing as well. Again, he's kind of like just born to be an innkeeper, stout shoulders from a life of work, but he finally decided to, be of home and hearth. He looks up at you with his big bushy eyebrows, oh, Tynna, yes, and the great warriors, have a seat. Your meal is nearly ready. And you see he kind of grabs a tray of bread, hands it to Emily. She sets it down on this table here in the middle. Don't worry about the map stuff. You guys all sit down kind of around this table. You see as some of the civilians of Emerella are walking around. They kind of like peer in at you guys. It's kind of a cool moment, like the heroes sitting down for a very mortal thing, like a meal together. They've now seen you battle dragons, but they haven't gotten to watch you guys just like hang out, and so there's a little bit of that celebrity thing where, all the windows of the bar, every now and again, you'll see like someone like peek in and they're just kind of like, what are they doing in there? Okay, cool. But yeah, the meal gets set up
Before we get too far off, I just want to make sure that Brian comes with us.
Yeah, so Brian, you see, Bruenor, you're like, Brian, come on, and you see him like kind of floating in the water. You notice him kind of like, his head cocks confusedly a little bit, and he looks down the river to the south. You see, he just kind of like looks down, and then shakes it off, and just kind of, kind of runs over. You see, he's worried, like he doesn't want to scare the children. Like they know, this green dragon has attacked their town. So he's very good about not, Brian is great with kids. Like he's very good about not being too imposing. He tucks his wings back and he looks far more like the crocodile that you once knew, good boy Brian, as he kind of just plays the part in town. You see him kind of waddling through. He stops for a moment looking at the pile of basically ground up bone and dust that is the impression from the dragon Harnax. And again, he kind of shrugs it off and just, continues along his way. Like, Bruenor, like Brian is now thinking about things, something that a creature, the monster originally, not monster, but beast, not originally would he put much thought into moments. And now you're seeing him like, as his brain evolves almost in this transition, as he's starting to consider things. You saw him consider your emotions. You saw him consider the heaviness of some of these things. And but again, he always will just revert back to that good, thick, wiggly boy, and meets you halfway. It's like that connection between you is reestablished because of spending the time with you.
Righteous.
So yeah, Brian Man pops himself in. And just kind of wriggles up. He takes the big, the daddy seat, just so that his tail can kind of stick out of the door while he eats. And yeah, Emily and Cephas bring about a great feast for all of you guys.
I kind of take notice of everybody watching us like we're celebrities, and I grab the first loaf I can from the table, and I break it and I share it with the person nearest to me, and I look them in the eyes and I say, don't think of us as greater than you. We are all here to spread Shantia's message and love and light. We are equals.
You see, like kind of the mood as the, just this is one of the new townsfolk, that you guys haven't really met up with or anything. Just somebody kind of peering by. You see, he sits down, some like workers' tools. He's probably just some farmhand or something in the area, and he's kind of peering through the door. You gesture and let him in. You kind of like, he's got like bangs, shaggy hair, and he kind of pushes it back. You see, he's like not even used to really talking to like nobles or anything, let alone heroes. And he pushes his hair back, and he kind of like cautiously comes into the room, and he takes the bread from you. And he just looks at you, and Tynna, you've seen it a million times before. His eyes well up with that benevolence as if he's looking at a saint. And you see he looks at the bread, and he looks at you, and he's trying to understand what your message is. And you see him, he takes the bread, and he's like, yes, ma'am. Yes, we're all the same. And you see he starts walking out, and as he steps out the bar doors, you see another villager walking by, and he takes the half a loaf of bread that he has, and he breaks it in half. And he hands the lady his half of bread. And then you see he starts walking a little bit, and you see she suddenly like looks at him, and she tears her bread in half. And you watch as kind of the message of what you're giving out spills with a little bit of extra divine grace, as if this Church of Shantia, your connection to your goddess, this new channel of power from your ability to ask for divine intervention. You watch as almost the breeze of the city is more the breath of the Green Lady, and you feel the warmth of the mother as the city understands this message that you've sent out, and you hand your bread out. But again, you see Cephas, he sets it down, and he's like, that's all well and good, darling, but don't forget to fill your belly too. And he sets another loaf of bread down in front of you, and
let's feast, praise Shantia.
You hear, to the Green Lady, ah! And then like as you're getting ready to drink, you hear another, and to Tynna Smoothhands. And they all kind of raise their thing up, and then you're like getting ready to drink again, and they're like, and the Five! And you all kind of you see everybody around, even the kids have gotten their hands on a cup of ale and are like, yeah! And then they're like, ew! And they pour it out because they hate beer because it tastes disgusting.
Yeah, spicy. To the green lady.
Lady.
Oh my
Like
god,
it.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Thank you so much. I was like, it sounds like Jerry Lewis, right?
Green lady.
Yes. Thank you. Oh, it's killing me inside.
And you guys feast of the meal, prepared similarly by the bounty of Shantia. And each of you, again, not as strong as the connection that Tynna has. It's not like you're there in that favorite memory of yours, but it's almost like that feeling when you hear a song that you love. Each of you as you take the various breads and you see there's not a lot of meat. You know what I mean? Like the fish being run out and the stuff. It's like there's not a ton of meat, so there's a lot of bread dishes and grain dishes and there's like a quinoa, and you're just kind of like, you guys are all as you eat this meal though, that feeling washes over you. You've each had your moment alone. You've each had your moment to reflect. But man, there's such a power in being what you are and watching as Tynna, your question is somewhat answered from before. Are you guys agents of good in the world or agents of good change? And in this moment, you can't help but reflect on the fact that you have saved this city twice. And now the people, the children even, are all learning from your lessons. So kind of a beautiful, fantastic, moment to see. And you look around and you see, like, even though the sun has been frozen in the sky for the same amount of time, the harsh sun that you're kind of growing to hate, the beams fall through the glass in a little bit of a nicer way. The little god rays kind of shine on the inside of the inn room. You see the little flecks of dust floating around in the beams of light. You hear the warm laughter of hearth as you all share and clank, cups and food against each other, as you sit around the Dancing Dragon Inn. You have a good time. It's not necessarily a josh, but it's you let this feast and the happiness that it brings and the connectedness and kind of the end of one big journey that you guys have just taken since you've last been in like a town, and you let all that wash over you. And as you're kind of like listening to the glorious sounds, the crackling fire, burning inside, the shattering of plates as they crash against each other, the trays banging into each other, laughter and jokes and fun and revelry. You start, all of you at the same time start hearing this strange sound. You're like, it's such stark difference from the rest of the sounds. Caw! 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 You hear crows. Caw! 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 And you start looking around the room. You hear the laughter kind of dying out. Suddenly you see the god beams kind of blocked as if there's a shadow. You see about 100 crows all flutter, and their little yellow beady eyes are all peeking through the windows. You see the doorway is just a sudden burst of black crow feathers. They start kind of falling in the specks of sunlight with the little dust specks in the room. The cawing starts to become maddening. Caw, 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 caw. You just hear caw, caw, cries of all these birds all around you. The laughter fades, the happiness, the cups banging into each other, the joy is all sucked out of the room. And you hear the draining sound of chains against each other. And you see in the doorway the sunlight is blotted out. You hear the caws just echoing all around you, seemingly coming from all directions at once. You see a figure step in. And I have dope art for him, so I'm gonna I should have brought this up.
Not dope art.
Oh, the dope art.
No, only the dopest.
All these birds are like, caution.
So you see standing in the doorway. I'm sorry, I'm gonna do that. We'll bring him back. You see standing in the doorway is this strange, like, pirate-looking guy. He's got big, swarthy buccaneer boots and like a big, long yellow jacket that's like hung loosely off of his shoulders. You see savage red scars latched all across his chest and small links of chain connecting each of these strange wounds to each other. His face is kind of grizzled and scarred. You see piercings and chains connecting to a large pirate cap that he wears. And you see small chains fitting all around it. You hear the caw, 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 caw of all these crows around you. You see he speaks, and all the crows stop. Well, this is nice, quite a nice town you got here. Be a shame if something happened to it. And he draws on a cigarette. And that's where we're going to pick it up after intermission, guys.
Yo, who is this with the crows?
Yep, excuse me?
Oh, sorry. I also botched the
me.
landing
I
on
already
that
hate
part. But no, I have some dope. We'll be back. That's the best part. We'll be back. Okay. Whew. Guys, we will be back in 10 minutes. We do us a 10-minute intermission around here. Definitely, if you have a chance, I mean, obviously pee, get yourself some water, crit sip, hydrate, all that good stuff. But man, take a listen. There is some incredible new art. There is some incredible new music. The art that it goes into this show is just my very favorite thing about all of this. So please enjoy. We do it 10 minutes. We will be back. There's a countdown timer and everything. But we will be back in 10 minutes for the resolution of this pretty crazy pirate guy.
Yeah. And yes, I noticed my background fell, but I'm not wearing pants, so it has to wait until intermission.
Been there, bro. I've been there.
Mhm.
Welcome back, buds, to WeeDnD, the pot positive live tabletop role-playing experience. Holy crap, our friendly little feast in the village of Emerella had a strange visitor, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm looking forward to jumping back in. So let's do that. We jump back in. You guys are all sitting in the Dancing Dragon Inn, in the city of Emerella, having just finished a boisterous feast of a meal with some of the villagers of the city nearby, kind of bestowing that graceful feeling of benevolence and happiness that tends to follow you guys wherever you go, despite how dark the areas you may be headed are. You guys always seem to hold on to this zest for life, which is infectious to those around you. That balloon of happiness was popped by the sudden arrival of these strange cawing sounds, as the crows, now almost blotting out the sun entirely, as, hundreds of crows are peering in through the windows and doorways of the Dancing Dragon Inn. You hear their caws, caw, 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 just cawing in all directions around you. And you see standing there, in the doorway, Bruenor, a person who strikes you immediately. You do know who this guy is. Let me describe him. He's standing. He stands about 5'10", not quite 6 feet tall, but he reaches 6 feet tall by the aid of his large captain's hat that he wears on his head. It's got dangling chains all around it and big, gorgeous plumes of feathers of vibrant blue and purple birds that kind of dangle off with like medallions and other chains around the yellow and brown brimmed hat. His face slashed and scarred with piercings in strange places on his face. Like his nose is pierced up top. Some of his scars seem to be pierced together. He wears this long shoulder to ankle, yellow pirate coat that just kind of hangs off of his shoulder, revealing his midriff. And you see like several savage of these slashing scars across his chest and looped chains that appear to be like fitted into rings on his body. So you see these like chains are looped through these piercings all over him. And as the light kind of glimmers off of his body, the chains are all moving. Like moving around his body through all the elaborate piercings up and down his arms. You see he holds kind of at his sides, they're not in his hands right now, but they're hooked. He has these long metal harpoons that he's bent backwards to make into these large hooks, but they're definitely fisherman harpoons. And he's bent them back into these like mangled torture device looking hooks that are fitted with chains at either side. The chains hang down, about 2 feet and then reconnect at his waist and seem to be a part of this like moving chains that writhe all over his body like serpents. He stands with his like brown pants and a green sash around his belt. He's got all these strange little vials, just like in this like alchemist belt around his stomach. Shouldered up on his right shoulder, he's got a bear trap, just kind of like hanging and mounted on his shoulder. And you see just this kind of long flowing cape that comes off the back shoulders of the jacket itself. And standing before you, Bruenor, you know this immediately, is Captain Creefus. He's kind of like picking his teeth with a little piece of wood. Be a shame if something happened to it. Now, Bruenor, that strikes you immediately because Captain Creefus is well known to be the captain of a bounty hunter group called the Drowned Hounds. In the ocean, they are the absolute #1 bounty hunter group. If you need someone captured, these are the people to go to. You have heard the lengths that they are willing to go. You've heard of them creating magical tsunamis and wiping entire cities off the map, causing great earthquakes to swallow cities to get people to talk and tell them where to go. Now, one thing that sticks out strange from this to you, though, is they have a boundary of the ocean. They only hunt targets in the ocean because they are all strange. It's like a strange aquatic freak show. And so Captain Creefus is the lone human of the operation. Well respected for his treachery and chaos, but this guy won't blink, won't bat an eye to kill 1,000 people. It's in his nature. And you see he steps in, looks around the room, and he locks eyes with you, Bruenor. And the last time you looked into these eyes, you were pounding down probably your 20th ale in this bar on the outside of Elmira. He had just drifted into town and was regaling you with horrid stories of flaying the skin off of people, having swarms of sharks devour people's children in front of them until they gave him the information that he had. At the time, you couldn't help but reflect upon him like some crazy wild guy that has all these sick stories as you're drunk in the bar. But the reality of those stories starts to settle in with you as you smell the sea on this guy. It's like his skin itself has salty crystals on it, and you can smell the salt ocean in just in his gait as he walks into the room. He looks around, locks eyes with you, Bruenor. Oh, it's good to see you again, my lord.
So, you're really itching for cash. Business must be pretty sparse right now, is what you're telling me right now by being in my presence.
Oh, was I supposed to bow? And as he laughs, you hear all the crows. Like this like.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
You
I
see a
hate
couple
them.
of them flutter
I hate
away.
them. I've seen them before. I hate the birds.
You like bang on the glass, and they're like,
Yeah.
and then
know,
resettle once more.
they know I don't like them. I don't like those birds. They're assholes. Guys, they're assholes.
Fuck birds.
I know what that guy said was a rhetorical question, but I'm like, no.
Yeah.
He kind of looks over at you. Divit, you see he looks at you kind of like he's seen something like you before. He's like looking at your skin and like this red set mask of death on you, and he just kind of sees like looking around the room, and you can't help but hear the just like grinding of chains as they writhe all over his body, and he's just looking around. You guys, Thoricus, you see beyond him, standing in the doorway, kind of running up from behind, is Toko the hatchet. You see him coming out with his axe. He's like looking around at all these birds that are crawling. You see now looking beyond him, they're even covering like the tents outside and other buildings. These crows are all over the place. And you see Toko like standing there with his axe, like looking at you, and he looks into your eyes like, should I take this guy? You know what I mean? Like he's looking to you to be like, is this a threat?
I'm also like finger on the trigger looking at Bruenor taking her lead.
You see Toko's similarly, it's like he puts the axe to his side, but by no means puts it away. And he just stands there, he looks at you, Thoricus. He respects you enough. He'll take your lead. He kind of backs away. You see him, he looks, and there's kind of a shocked look on his face. You follow his gaze over, and you just see Albie just like, just walking, and there's this weird crow just chilling on his shoulder. Like not being aggressive or anything, but just like, he's like, oh, what a weird little bird. And he's just playing with it as he's walking by. You're all just kind of like, and so you see, we're kind of back into the room. You feel the air kind of sucked out. Almost the fire itself, all the oxygen's been drawn out of the room, so the fire dies. Like, it's just like this, you feel like an ocean breeze follows this man wherever he goes.
Hello, Keithus Sutherland. So you've made it this far from the seas. And I happen to know what you're probably here for. But what I do not know is how come you can't make 10,000 gold another way?
He laughs again. All the birds start cawing again. It calms down. 10,000 gold pieces is nothing. But the queen, your sister, promised me my own army. Now that, you hear the chinking of the chains, that appeals to me. He draws off of his cigarette once more and blows smoke in. He looks around at the faces of the rest of you guys. Everybody's finger on the trigger, basically. He can feel that. He's no fool. He looks around, he's like, oh, you all would just love to kill me, wouldn't you? Why don't you ask your friend there what happens? What happens if you shun the privilege of being hunted by the drowned hounds?
What happens?
Well, they don't call them the drowned hounds for nothing. If they get you on their hooks, or if you're on any of their chains, you're not coming back.
Mm-hmm. I see you haven't lost all your sense. Well, I thought it best we introduced ourselves. I enjoy the hunt myself. He looks around, and you see Albie kind of like starts walking nearby him, and he just turns and looks at him. And you see he grabs like an apple off one of the stands. He like kneels down in front of Albie. He's like, hey there, son. You like my birds? And he's like, oh yeah, that's a great bird. He's like, he likes it when you feed him. and he gives the apple to the little boy. You're all, like the bubbles like swelling up, and you see he just kind of turns and he looks at you. Such fragile things, and so many of them. You see he stands up, and a bunch of the crows fly away from the windows. You see probably like 30 of them standing around his feet. We'll be waiting for you to the south. Follow the river, past the waterfall. You'll know when you see it. And please, bring your A game. And he draws on a cigarette, and he turns around, and you watch all the crows like swarm around him. And then as they fly away, he's gone. A couple of the crow feathers fall in the air and land on the ground, proof that what just happened actually happened. But Bruenor, you have been offered the privilege of being one of the marks of the drowned hounds. What you choose to do with that information is your own.
Yes! Yes! I'm such a big fucking deal now! God! Fucking... Oh, holy shit! Holy shit! I look at Brian. Brian and I are both like going like nuts.
Brian's like, dude, they have a crocodile too. I heard they might have a crocodile too.
Holy
yeah, he's
shit,
totally in on it.
So fucking cool.
Ooh, yeah, this is like Boba Fett hunting you. You're like, what? Boba Fett knows who the fuck I am? Boba Fett?
That's
like,
so
yeah.
fucking cool.
Yes.
Holy shit.
It's like that big?
It's that big, Drew.
It's that big?
It's Boba Fett big.
It's a pretty big fucking deal, you guys.
Yeah.
We are going to have quite a pickle getting from here to where we have to go next time. I'm telling you that right now. Just
all right,
letting you
so
know.
Bruenor, you're familiar. So Captain Creefus is kind of the face of this organization, but you have heard all kinds of strange rumors about this group. If any of you guys, in fact, if you want to give me a history check, a lot of you guys spent time around bars.
Our favorite.
Yeah.
History checks. How many ones can we get rolled on some history checks?
Well, you know what? You did say bars, though.
That's true.
Our old foe.
Oh no, we have to hit. Crit hit.
No. Oh no.
Rules are rules. Alright, I just had to make sure there wasn't another one. Ooh! I went with this one because Death was here. This is Beelzebong.
Hey.
Gifted me by the
Beelzebong.
Gus Two Blunts Langley himself. Oh goodness. Crit sip. Don't forget to hydrate, friend.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Alright. So, Tynna, especially being a trickster cleric as you have, the bars that you frequented were, the bars of that black market world. You could hire an assassin as easily as order an ale. You could find bounty hunters to pick up anybody. So although you've never come in contact with them either, you too are privy to the knowledge of the Drowned Hounds. You've heard of their reputation. Now they are spoken of almost like a myth, that their ship can appear out of nowhere, that they're cursed. There's like a curse upon this crew, kind of like sea myths. But you've heard that like they have like a many-limbed child, and there's like strange creatures of the sea have come to like work with them. So it's like all the great sea monsters, are all kind of considered to be potentially maybe part of this operation. And so the Drowned Hounds are literally like the doom of the sea. They have virtually almost a 100% success rate, with few exceptions. But Tynna, you are aware with your sweet crit, even though I know crits don't count as skill checks, die by me. But you are aware that in fact recently, like near the end of your time before you joined the We3, with Thoricus and Divit, and began your work around Candlekeep and Rodella, that they were actually, their reputation was going away. That like their last of their contracts had gone poorly, and that perhaps this was nothing more than a myth after all, and they were mere bounty hunters of no fame or esteem. So you actually know in this moment, Tynna, this is like a tasty little tidbit that you're aware of, is that the Drowned Hounds have like fallen out of favor. Like people don't fear them quite as much as they used to now.
I remember that, and I'm like, the Drowned Hounds. I heard that they weren't hot stuff anymore. Maybe this will be easier than we think.
I don't know, man. It's kind of like if Jason and Freddy and Pyramid Head and fucking Frankenstein and fucking the Penguin and the Joker all kind of got together with Nosferatu and started hunting people.
Dude, that's a dope one shot.
I don't know what any of that means.
Sounds scary though. It sounds
I've
proper
never met
scary.
those gentlemen.
They're all sea people, so it's fine. You'll know when you go down, when we go visit, actually there's none of that left. I'm gonna take a moment.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Just kick a rock. Like, I'm gonna...
Just take it. Just,
You see Cephas
Yo,
kind of
big
reading the
ups
room,
on getting
peeks his head
chased
over.
down.
yeah.
Thank you. This is also going to suck. I'm just, I'm just telling you that right now. So I'm glad we at least get to have one meal together.
Yeah.
Together.
I'm like writing a song about how Bruenor is the anchor of the five, and it is both a compliment and kind of a subtle jab somehow. Yeah.
Oh, nautical puns. I get it.
Because
Nice.
the anchor holds it down, but also it's what sinks. And we're going to this dangerous thing because of Bruenor.
No,
But
I
I'm
love
all
it.
into it.
Do I hear it?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No,
right?
that reminds me of what Ryan told me in the water. Just about being like not being part of the five. And so I'm listening to Divit's song, and I like suddenly go, oh wait, Brian and I just kind of reconnected, and I'm not trying to call you out or anything. I want to communicate to the rest of them so that there's, it's all transparency, right? Like we just want to be cool with each other.
Be real. Yeah.
So
Be real.
yeah, let's be real. Let's be real. And
There's only one. Baby. There's only one.
and so Brian was telling me that that dragon statue, that dragon in the room, the Halifax.
Yeah.
Yeah, shot. He told Brian that we aren't the five of that Shaka Khan prophecy.
In the
Chikinja.
Yeah.
Providence of Rhode Island.
The shake and bake prophecy.
Shake and bake, shake and bake.
What do you mean we're not the five? Everybody this has been telling us this whole time.
There's
Right, but
definitely five of us.
Well, I mean, the math already checks out.
You're right, but I don't know. Now I'm just wondering if we may be a five. Maybe
Yeah.
Huh.
What's wrong with that?
we could be a five. We don't have to be. We don't have to go with whatever this thing is. But
Yeah.
if this path, regardless, helps us save the world, then I say we continue on.
Even
Hey,
if we're
I
not-
appreciate you sharing that.
if we're not the five of the prophecy, everything we've done together, we've given each other such strength. And I say this because I took a moment in the Church of Shantia, dedicated to one Tynna Smoothhands,
Yes.
which is gorgeous, by the way.
Well done.
I mean,
Mhm.
felt bad about burning it down, but boy, if it isn't better.
Like a phoenix from the ashes.
And I tried to speak with Shantia and tell of the dilemma that's going on. When Divit and I were in the scrying pools, you all saw the Synthesis toying with the summer court, and as we've heard, the winter court. I addressed this to her being a being that we don't quite understand, but not from her. I did receive a message back
Who?
from Martha. It was as if she was at the end of just this. I could barely make her out, but she said, "You're on the right path."
What did she sound like?
You're on the right path, dear.
That sounds just like her. That was totally it.
Oh,
It sounds like it, right?
Yeah,
You
that
remember.
sounds just like her. Oh, I
Oh,
do.
that was great.
And that,
Divit, you remember, right? Martha.
What?
So
Yo,
again,
in the
no, go ahead.
in the interest of everybody coming clean about things, even though I'm a little confused by what Rial just said, take this with a grain of salt, but Death told me that we have to help the Winter Queen.
What?
I insulted
Why?
her so many times. I don't.
she's probably still really mad at us.
I killed so many of her minions.
According
so
to
many.
Death, the enemy of our enemy is our only hope.
And synthesis. Is that kind?
What is
kindly?
kindly?
Would you kindly?
He's got something to say. This is like big news.
It's big news.
He's watched our episode.
This is bigger than Boba Fett. My God, so much is happening right now.
I'm loving it.
Yeah, holy shit. What, Thoricus, do you have any truth bombs to drop on us?
Fuck. I don't know. I was just gonna go in the forge and see what was happening there, but there's so much going on right now.
She's not even in town right now, Thoricus.
I know.
Ooh.
I just want to make sure that the forge is still hot and properly stoked. And I thought I heard hammering in there anyway.
Oh.
I mean, I'm kind of old and these ears aren't what they used to be, but they know that sound. Believe you me.
Well,
Should we
maybe we...
investigate the hammering and continue this discussion there?
Yeah.
Figure out what the fuck we're gonna do.
I would love to do that. And
Yeah.
I would also love to see, because fucking Togo the Hatchet is over there ready to kill people for me. I love that. Appreciate you, bro.
You see, he's just standing there, you just see the slits of his eyes, as he looks at you. You know the old axe Lucille in his hand. He still hasn't really calmed down. He's looking at you like a well-trained attack dog. You know what I mean? In the sense, not in a deprecating sense, but like he's ready to do whatever you need right now. He's still like mystified by the magic that just occurred.
Yeah, I was like, I would never treat him like my pet.
Yeah,
That's
I was like, that
he's
was
like my
bad.
dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, you down. D-A-W.
yeah.
Dead.
Oh,
You
Dags.
dig?
Yeah.
You like
Like
digs?
Like digs?
What?
Dig Dug?
Tags.
Like Caravan.
Oh, dogs.
Digs.
I like
Oh,
Dags.
tags. Like caravans more though.
All right. So, is that what you guys want to do? You want to shift? You want to go check out this forge with the smoke coming out of it?
Yeah,
it'd be
I would
cool
also
to
like to-
let people have all the food leftovers and just be
Yeah,
like, it's free for us to
100%.
share. And
Yeah.
Yeah, you see Cephas steps up. He's like, oh, absolutely. I'll make sure everybody gets a plate. And you see he just starts laying out. It's like he's washed an ungodly amount of dishes and they're all clean, but he's still managing to always be cleaning a glass. And so as he serves all these dishes and everything with great alacrity.
Whatever a silly tip for that guy would be, I'd like to give him like double that.
Okay, so like we kind of talked a little bit about this, about like how it's like you have to be careful in small economies that you don't like make somebody a target by giving them too much wealth. And so we set that level around like 5-10 gold, but like 20 gold would be like about where you're like beyond this. If somebody heard about it, somebody might show up here and rob him.
I don't want to get that extravagant. I figure we probably owe him a couple of silver for the actually if we were going to pay for this food.
Yeah, totally.
So I'll give him like 20 silver, which is way more
totally
than it would have been, but not enough to make him a target.
That's more than double what it would have been, including if you guys had like lodging for the night too. He does offer, he's like, oh, we've got the beds in the old windmill workroom. You're welcome to them. The 2 suites are already bought up. You see, he kind of like winks over at you, Tynna, because you've got one, and Kumal's laying in the other one. But there are several beds in like the old workroom for the windmill that they've set up as like I said, more people are coming to this town, so they've added more beds to sleep in here in the south side of town. But yeah, if you guys want to go over to the forge, we can totally do that. You see Cephas, he's gonna do exactly as you like. He's gonna take all, nothing will go to waste. Everybody's gonna get a meal, and he's making up little bundles and stuff for everybody.
Yeah, sack lunch.
Go Cephas.
You hear like, did you say sack? Oh. And then this big greasy blueberry smeared face finally kind of like waddles into the bar. He's like, we're giving out free meals. And instead of grabbing the plates of like non-eaten food, he's taking like all the stuff that already has bites out of it, like and the part of the apple nobody wants. And he's
Reduce,
like,
reuse, recycle, Rihanna.
Yep.
Done.
yes,
Captain Planet. Right.
Yes. And you see as Hipoko the sack just gets down, eating several men's shares of food. As you guys kind of like, oh, all right, and slide out. So yeah, up to the north, like I said, in the forge, there's like Tanara's house, which was kind of attached to this forge here in the north side of town. There is like the smoke of a forge. You no longer hear hammering within. Like you did when you first got here. Obviously, all the commotion may have changed what he was up to in there. But you do, as you kind of approach, and you see like the tent flap that kind of lets you into the forge is pulled back, and you can see the glowing of the fire. And inside, there's just like a young human man, starting to kind of balding. He's probably in his like late 40s, early 50s, but he's got kind of like red hair that kind of goes around the back. He's got real strong smith muscles. A guy who swings a big heavy hammer a lot. He's just kind of wearing one of those blacksmith robes and like no shirt, or the blacksmith smock and no shirt. So he's just kind of like chiseled, going around like hitting up on these hammers and stuff. But a big stout blacksmith. Thoricus, you kind of in a moment can just eyeball like how good a blacksmith is this guy. Nothing comparing to you and your lady, that lady Tynna, not your lady, just the lady.
Oh
The
yeah,
lady.
the girl who used to
That
work here.
random-
The girl that used to work here.
The
There's no
lady.
Tanara, but he might do in a pinch.
That smith over there. So yeah, you're kind of like gauging it, almost like you would like know your enemy on the battlefield. You're like know your blacksmith in the forge, and you're looking at him. This guy's got he's got a little skill to him. He's not an apprentice level smith by any means, based on the works that you see laying around. But he's nowhere near the incredible skill of both you and Tynara.
Yeah,
But yeah, you see, he kind of looks up as you guys approach. He's like, welcome. You need something smithed. Crazy day.
I do want to look at Thoricus when we walk in. I'm like, so this is where it happened.
Where it happened, huh?
The dragon armor. The fabled dragon armor.
This is where we made it.
Ooh,
Awesome.
Wow. You see, he looks
Wow.
up. He's like, I've heard about it, but man, that is really nice work. Are you the smith, sir? He kind of looks down at you, Thoricus, or he's just like, are you the smith? Did you craft this armor?
Look down on me. Yep. Yes, I did. I had help.
Just
From the girl who. Oh, sorry. I was looking at your dick. Let me look at your face. Because I'm so short.
You see, he's super impressed, Thoricus, and he starts he's like, oh, wonderful. How did you get the skin to band to the bandings here? And you see he just pretty quickly starts just moving the pieces of your arm around. He goes to each one of you independently, oh, how did you get this? And he lifts your arm up. He's like, how did you get this little shoulder piece to rivet so well? Oh, there's no seal on
Stop.
that.
Stop.
Oh, sorry. I get excited. Sorry.
I know. That's why. Just
Yeah.
go ahead.
Sorry, sir. Sorry. The forge, of course, is open to you and any of your needs. Thank you for saving my life and the city.
There's barbecue over at Cephas's place. You should go check it out. Me and my friends are gonna hang out here. Thank you for taking care of the place while what's her name isn't here. I appreciate it, and you know what? I'll get one of my guys to maybe scribble down a few blacksmithing secrets from the old dwarven noggin for you for taking care of the place. I'm not going to give you money because that's not going to mean shit to you. So
Yeah.
Knowledge is worth more than money. Okay.
Man,
What?
speaking
You're
of
gonna-
knowledge, because it seems like you're about to send this guy off. Can I ask him if he knows the magical old woman?
The sick one.
I was gonna. Oh, you're talking about Ubre. I was gonna have my guy Toko, that before we actually came up here, is just to calm him down and be like, "Hey, stop. It's fine. Look,
He's still
fine.
looking at you
We're
from
all-
the other
we're all
side of
good.
town with the
Like,
axe.
It's fine. Just go get Ubre. Okay. Go get Ubre. She's here, right?
She might be a good
She's here.
asset for whatever
Yeah,
we're
just-
about to do in this forge.
Buddy, you're doing great. I'm so proud of you. But yeah, just go get her real quick. We're gonna be in the forge. Just go meet us there.
You see
Cool.
Toko's like, waves his
Yeah,
hand up,
my guy. All right.
walks away. The giant bugbear, kind of looming in the street. The leader of the Burakan Stone Reavers, kind of
Yeah.
goes back to you think go get Ubre. You see this smith, this guy sitting here, just kind of like, yes. So okay. Well, this was big fans. You guys are great.
What's your name?
Oh,
Yeah,
Brand.
what's your name?
Brand. Nice to Brand. My name's Brand.
Brand.
Yes, Brand.
Brand.
Yes. Brand.
Brand.
Brand Smith.
Yes.
Brand, when we brought up Ubre, did you say the sick woman?
Yes. Oh, yeah. She's not doing too good. She used to walk around the town a lot, but she has not been. I mean, she's
Huh.
old, right? She's
That's
old.
true.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
that's what old people do.
They get sick.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just making sure she's not like dead or anything.
Oh,
you
I
know?
mean-
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I don't want to. I don't know.
Well, I guess we'll see.
We will.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. The forge. Look, my good. Yeah, hold on. My good hammer. And you see, he, like, walks over and he takes the hammer off the smith's edge and he like reaches up and pulls a box out and he's like, "It would be my. It would mean a lot if you would use my hammer. If you did any work in here, you don't even have to put my seal on it like this. I just, man, I can't. He's in my forge right now. I'm sorry.
It's
This is like a lot.
It's fine. I'll use the hammer. Just go, because the soul slaw is getting cold.
Brand. Sorry, that was dumb.
You
All
want
right.
fresh, hot soul slaw.
No, you guys.
Go get it. I'll
Man.
use the hammer. Thank
Good
you.
day. Good day.
Good. Yes. Great
good day.
day.
It's a good day. You see, he kind of like walks out and he like stops as he's like kind of got to squeeze by each one of you. And he's just like staring at each of your armor as he goes by, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Ooh, oh my god, so nice.
I don't move away. He has to like shove his way through.
It's like he's got to like grind across, like,
They can work for
gosh, I
it.
can feel the stitching. Oh, that feels good. Okay, yep. He kind of pops out the other side of the door, and yeah, he leaves this forge to you. You know, Thoricus, you've worked here before. You can't help but catch some familiar locations around the room where you and the other great blacksmith did this incredible dance together that produced the fabled, dragon skin armor that everybody wears.
Yeah, that was a fun night. We got a lot of work done, so. And my friends are protected, and yep, everything's good.
You see Brian's in there just because he fits. I'm just kidding. He is in there though.
I was gonna say we can be, if there's like a window, we can be chilling outside.
Oh yeah,
And I
there's
can-
benches nearby. I mean, it's a lovely little town. You can kind
Yeah.
of pick your spot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm within earshot. Like I can still I'm hanging out, but I'm just kind of outside
Nice.
with Brian. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I was gonna say, wasn't there, like, by those barrels outside the forge, wasn't there like a window that I shot the arrow that had the note on it, like into the window right
Into
there?
the
as we were,
window.
like,
You see
leaving?
the window still not repaired, actually. Yes, the from your love note. Which kind of explains the haste by which she. I don't love note. But the haste
Yeah,
in which
it's
she
a
had to
note.
leave.
Calm down. It was a note, okay? But anyway, I'm just saying, like, I had worked in the forge, and there's like a window that goes
I'm
right
at
in
it. I'm
like
at
those
the
barrels.
window.
They could
Woo!
just sit on the barrels and chill outside and see the ballista that shot the dragon penis into the river that I turned into a water slide. So
Where
Oh,
so
yeah.
much began.
It's all full circle.
The fake dragon penis. You shot a fake one, and you pocketed the real one. All right, yeah. You know,
Good thing you had that fake one.
But yeah, you guys are there. So
Yeah, I'm in that window. I'm doing it.
You've got the full. You've got
I'm
the full
kicking ass.
too.
I'm just hitting on Brian. I'm just like sitting on him and like giving him scritches behind the ears, you know, giving him some good lovins.
You see one of the nearby shamanastas, you know, who's technically on guard right now, standing by the northern ballista. You know, she has her drums, but they're kind of set off to the side. And you see, you know, she sees this kind of enjoyable moment between you guys. She just kind of goes over and starts kind of like finger tapping on the outside of the drum. Just a light, you know, pleasant little melody, just a doom, doom, boom, doom, boom. You know, just starts kind of giving you guys like a nice, soft, little, enjoyable tune while she stands her post.
I love doing the light taps of the Raka for the fucking Lord of the Raka inside the forge right now. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do in that forge, Thoricus?
Well, okay. So you guys got to go shopping and do some cool shit and all that, and I also did a little bit of shopping. I was a little thrifty though, because I thought maybe if I had some time, gave up the nap, took care of the children, and you know, make sure all the kids get along, and we had an awesome feast. Thank you.
You guys have killed 0 children, worth stating.
Yeah, and burned down 0 churches this time. Look how far we've come.
That's evolution.
Celebrate good times. Come on. But yeah, I bought a half plate, but I would like to try to bulk it up and make it still dexterous, awesome, dope sauce and effective as I can, and raise the AC, but keep the sleek and sexiness of the you know.
Right, because it's like the next one up, you get like the disadvantage, right? So basically, you would just like increase the dexterity bonus of the armor.
Right. So half plate has a 15 plus dex modifier, which is a max 2.
Capped at 2.
And then on stealth, I get disadvantage. But it was cheaper, so.
Thrifty.
I'm kidding. Whereas the full plate, which Tynna wears and bathes in,
it's a little rusty.
Indeed.
It's all right.
It's the only way to clean it.
Yeah.
Do you have a better way to take a bath?
I'll take suggestions, please.
Nobody ever taught her. It was like, and then you take the armor off.
We see. It's fine. It's fine.
All right,
yeah,
no, I'm down with that. So rather than like going up to a higher class of armor, increasing what the max dexterity bonus is allowed on it, because usually it's medium armor, right? Medium armor is max dex capped at +2.
Correct.
And you
so
want
it'd
to
be a 15 plus 2 max, which I already have because I have a 3.
Right.
So it'd be a 17, whereas a full plate is an 18.
So you would still be getting this. It's not like you're getting an armor class that you wouldn't have had access to, both with resources. I like that, and it's like you have all these cool dragon parts,
right? And other shit that I want to like, and then you know, talk to my friends and be artistic and make my fucking dope ass armor, and maybe think about good times I've had here before.
So we will. So there is a little bit. So with Tynna not being there, without the other partner of the dance of the smith, you know, that weird connection that you both had when you were able to work the way that you did with the armor, create it so quickly. In this case, and again, you can spend the time to do so, but forging any more than I would say 2 pieces right now would take you a significant amount of time. Like it would be probably like days of work. Because Tynna is not here. Like that was the power of the bond between you guys. Now, you have the option of going to Tynna, who's in Rodella. That is one option. Or, like I said, even you are a master smith. You could absolutely upgrade your half plate armor to provide the +3 dex bonus, granting you the same AC as full plate. And then one other thing. If you want to try to forge something else.
Dude, I was just happy with the one thing.
Yeah.
I
think
wasn't
it'd be
even
cool, though.
expecting it. I felt bad.
You guys hit
because I
level
felt
10. You got to get
like
some cool stuff.
Something for me. But yeah, Brielle has a yes. Go ahead.
What if best friend had some help?
Sorry.
I have a reputation in this town as a magical wild man, so I'm not trying to make myself super seen. So I'd rather like stick in the forge, and I have no smithing, but I remember once we first saw the quick strike blade, Thoricus had mentioned he would like train me with it. It was originally going to go to me, and just the thought of like learning from my best friend, like whatever I could do to help him in the forge right now. I may not be the best help, but I'm here. I'm ready to learn. And I'm happy to help.
So that would give him
so
advantage.
dope, because I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, I just kind of wanted him to stay in that room with me so we could talk, because I can tell when my buddy's got a lot of shit on his mind, because regular shit is pretty already overwhelming for him. But like, I could tell like he's dealing with some shit. And be like, hey, bro, I'm gonna work on this armor. Just come on in here. Just sit down and we'll all just hang out. And
So are we gonna let them do that?
Yeah,
All
you
parties
guys.
welcome. It's not anything.
Bruenor, will you dish about that cute pirate with me, please?
Ugh.
Kindly.
yeah, no, I'm gonna come too. It's fine.
But yeah, so Rial, by helping Thoricus, it would basically function in this case kind of like the help action itself, giving him advantage on his blacksmithing tools check, which will factor into maybe there's extra cool stuff. Like I said, you guys are hitting level 10 now. Be ready, because things take a pretty... This is where, again, as a D&D player, it's like, this is where they stuff a lot of the really good monsters, or these next few levels. So I'm very excited to show you the next phase. But yeah, I like this. You guys have leveled up. Thoricus, you're in the forge. Rial, I kind of like this idea of you learning, from Thoricus. Watch it, because it's like the Stone Reavers are great stonesmiths. So their blacksmithing is almost like a battle of hammer against steel, And so it's like you are actually learning battle maneuvers and tactics from him by observing the way he operates in the forge. Short of spinning in a circle and hammering a ton of things at the same time, he flows around a forge the way he moves around a battlefield. And so you watch how much control he has over where his feet are. And akin kind of like Tynna when she cooks. It's like how she goes to that other place. You see, whereas, yes, he'll ask you for a hammer and he'll point out a specific detail as he works, but it's like for the most part, he's in the fucking zone. And so it's like, Thoricus, you do feel like you're dancing on the same stage that you once did this like magnificent ballet, but you're solo tap dancing right now, You can't help but remember how good it felt to have somebody who would strike where it was supposed to happen, when it was supposed to happen, as if you had two more arms and one shared brain, And so the connection that you guys have, kind of, again, is reforged in this moment as you realize, like, you were actually a better blacksmith when you worked with her, and whatever that means, but it is a real, it's like there is no denying it, that it is like she is an exceptional smith of her own right, and both of you are better when you're working together. And so it's, you again, you kind of like go around. And so give me, Thoricus, we'll do, the first one will be for your armor. Just do me a blacksmith tools. You get advantage with it because of Rial's aid.
Does a 26 work?
Yeah, a 26 is actually good enough for me. Now that doesn't grant you, just double check, that doesn't grant you disadvantage on stealth, correct? The half plate does not?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let me pull it back up.
I just want to double check.
Oh, wait, it would. Yes, on stealth checks, it
okay,
would.
So that is what you're breaking a 25, which is the DC for this skill check, just so you know for your second one, to go beyond the limits of the thing you want to make. You also remove the stealth disadvantage penalty. The stretchy webbing and the way you manage to use the bone of the dragon allows you this, it's like you don't hear the shifting metal plates, but kind of the smooth curve of bone on bone. Like there's a little bit of a grind, but nothing that would, give your position away, unless you were really careless. So it's like now instead, you kind of look at the bulkiness of the armors of, Tynna, Smoothhands, and Bruenor, and it's like you can move unfettered by that kind of restraint of the armor.
Oh yeah.
Under Armour. It's beautiful. You invented it. That's all you, buddy.
What's up, big armor? We're coming for you.
And so I would say, Thoricus, for that, we used the spine. That makes sense to me as far as the regents of that great dragon. The spine of it would be the one that you use to pull that off. You still have like all your teeth and I think the horn. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Oh, right. The great dragon spinal cord thing is what I called it. And so I will just uncheck that in my inventory. Okay, so fuck yeah, that's dope.
So what would you like to try for thing number 2? Number 2!
God.
Blunts.
I don't know.
Gus, your hat and that flag right now are doing something. I know I'm higher now because I was like, what?
Oh, God. So good.
All right, yeah,
Goodness.
Thoricus. What does Big Pop Sketty want to do with that second item?
I don't know. I never really think about myself too much, and I always think about my friends. And, you know, if we're not the 5 and we have to... This prophecy thing is like a thing with Divit who has to kill Rial, and who knows? Like, maybe one of these days we might come to blows. Like, Papa's got to take care of himself, too. Absolutely. You know what I mean? I don't want to be selfish, but these are some of the baddest motherfuckers I've ever run into in my whole life. And
well, and you've taken on a commander role. It's like when you lose your commander in battle, everything quickly falls apart, you know. And so it's like you, as you've kind of stepped into understanding that once more, even though you're not the general of the Stone Reavers anymore, but it's like they look that you can't help, that role keeps thrusting itself upon you because you were born for it, you know. And so it's like, just like Topoko is ready to give his life for you, so are the men that he trains in your honor from your code, you know. And so it's like this swell of like this command, you know, some of your battle maneuvers and stuff, kind of that level 10ness of it all, you know. You got to keep the commander alive.
There's a certain charisma that the leader, you know, projects. The armor is better and the prestige and just the fucking presence that when you're around, you're the awe of like, oh my God, this guy, holy shit, of course I'm, you
can't wait for Brenna to see it.
Treat yourself, baby. Treat yourself. You gotta put your mask on yourself before somebody else, right? Like
that. You do you, Papa.
Oh yeah.
Get it, Papa Sketty.
You know it. Great to see it.
No, I like it.
All right. So, gosh, it's been a while since I've done anything with my weapons, but they're just so fucking badass already. And I like the balance of them. I'm digging this whole, the fury, and then the one eye lights up, and then the darkness of the Blightbringer, and then the other eye lights up, or both light up dark, or both light up light, or whatever, the balance. I dig that. But still, I think I should probably protect myself a little bit more, because dude, I know you're coming at me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you are. So I'm going to try and get as defensive as I can, because you're going to throw as much as you can. Huh? You know what I'm saying.
What?
You're coming at me.
I don't know what you're talking
about. All right.
I would never. No, I might.
You would never tell me if you actually were.
No, I might.
You just.
I thought about it. I changed. I'm going to be real with you. I mean, like, yeah, I'll come at you a little.
Yeah, change up the game. I like it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be great. So I would like to try to, I guess, add more shit to the armor that I've already, whatever, enhanced, so upgraded, or...
I will, there was one, I like this because there's one thing you had mentioned, Thoricus, about like how, like why you bagged these things in the first place. You realized they had some effect against the presence of the Shadowfell. And so let's take this, you're like, all right, you remember when Tommy was the Green Ranger, right? And
yes.
And then Tommy was then the White Ranger with the gold.
Was.
And the White Tiger.
Right.
So that, all right, if you will, you do this. You take the green armor of, Harnax the young green dragon, and you infuse it with
Happening.
let's say the horn. You powder the horn and infuse the outfit with the essence of the horn of a great dragon, and you kind of mix it all up, make everything together, and using what your kind of hypothesis, you manage to make your armor resistant to necrotic damage.
Fuck out of here. Come on, you're too nice.
Wow.
You're too nice.
You rolled a
Come on.
26. You rolled a 26. So that's what happened. I mean, it's, Riao used his thing to help. I like that. Like I said, it's like, there's I don't necessarily just giving. It's not like you're giving magic items. You have some very high magic stuff. You have blacksmithing skills. And for the sake of this moment, it's like a little inspiration. The swelling breeze of the Green Mother, it's like there's magic in the air, and you are able to forge your suit anew in this like golden, there's still little elements of green, but there's like some gold and some white, and it doesn't make sound as you move, and you just weave this perfect suit that also makes you resistant to necrotic damage. Now you take half damage from necrotic sources.
Yo, T, I know you got some of that shadow. What do you think the likelihood that you could make me some kind of like ring to keep a little shadow in, so that I got a mushroom in one hand and a shadow in the other?
You want me to make you fucking like coxing gloves?
Yeah, whatever you want to call them, bro.
Yeah, Divit still has the ring with the blood parasite mushroom on one hand. Thoricus, yeah, you could forge this with relative ease, but I would say you would end up having to have the effect of what he's talking about. You would have to use half of it. You would still have one use, one dose, if you will, of the black liquid. But of the 2 units of it that you have, one of them would be used to make this ring for him.
Okay. And I'm sorry, you said that I used a horn that I ground up, or 2? Because I do have 2.
You have 2 horns. What, for now, keep one. You just used 1 horn. 1 horn of a Grey Worm Dragon is very large, so that it was enough for your suit of armor. But it does, if down the line you still have some pretty magical, powerful regents, you just don't necessarily have the time. I understand that there's like a time mechanic to a lot of this stuff, but forgive me if we just knock these 2 items out right now, and you're holding them up, and so there we go. You kind of forge away. Riao kind of learning from your movements.
Can I say that how much I learned from that? Like when I was listening to the description and just watching him go, and how it's almost like a choreographed dance. In my head, I just kind of get these flickers, like when his hammer hits the flint and the sparks. He's always dodging the sparks to not get burned, and finds the right points to strike. I almost picture just putting Scimitar the Rapier right in between Urgon's ribs, and then in the next, like Anti-Agatha, just a dagger right in the right part of under the chin. And that kind of goes into the Mage Slayer part of leveling up. Watching Thoricus, I'm like studying that, and it becomes kind of melee techniques into how to avoid those magical sparks and
exactly the
get 'em where it
sparks
hurts.
like magical bursts. When fighting a mage, you're not just fighting the body, but you're fighting the weave of magic that it can manipulate around it. And so as Thoricus, avoids these little singes, you also, it's like the magic is being cast from the spirit of the person, not just their body. And so if you're trying to react to it's like you're already too late. And so you start understanding the mechanics of the Mage Slayer feat, and how, like Thoricus at the Forge, how to avoid, the shortfalls of such, quick reactionary magic that could hurt you. I like that a lot. And yeah, so the as this, maybe not the same dance as Tynna and Thoricus. I don't know, maybe the same dance.
Not the same.
Maybe the exact same. No, but you guys do. You kind of get done. You look. You can't help but be sitting there and like just behold at the suit of armor. You have yet to don it, Thoricus, but you're kind of just standing there. You strike the last hammer strike of the suit of armor, which is like a ritual among the Stone Reavers. You would hear the last clank, and when there was no more hammer strikes, everybody knew it was time to come eat. You know what I mean? And so it's like you blast the last hammer down, and there's just like a nice calmness within yourself. You reconnecting to kind of the roots of who you are, as you have forged from something beautiful, something truly wonderful. And there it lays, the suit before you. That's the you can call it whatever you want.
I didn't actually think of a name for armor. I didn't know that armor would really have a name, but
Your Sunday best.
yeah.
Sunday best. The White Ranger. Your White Ranger.
Right. The fucktown conductor.
Ooh, there it is.
Ooh.
I thought of that Bang & Bus song. I've been watching that video too much. Awesome. So yeah, you managed to knock this out. Bruenor, you, Brian, you guys kind of enjoying just the simpleness of the moment outside again, not floating in the water, but kind of just being together as you hear the kind of the little finger drums of the nearby Shamanasta playing away. What about you, Divit? Well, you've got your you now have your ring forged for either hand. You have a blood-sucking mushroom in one hand and a life-leeching tar in the other. Fun. But yeah, I'd say you guys that would wrap up the blacksmithing portion of that. Do you guys have anything else you want to take care of? You can't help but every now and again think that you hear like the caw of a crow, but you can't tell if it's just like the normal sound of animals or it's just there's still like this unsettling feeling. The smell of salt water is still in the air around you. It's hard not to think about, particularly for you, Bruenor, as you look around at this simple, peaceful city, that's been put through so much already, now defended by you several times. And again, it would seem that it is in peril, whether or not it knows it or not. The Drowned Hounds are well known for their scorched earth tactics, and Captain Creefus is not one to be trifled with.
Right.
Even though they know we're coming, that doesn't mean that we have to make it easy on them. I suggest that we disguise ourselves
as pirates. Pirate flags.
They'll never see it coming.
He's got a point.
That's true.
Just stay very still.
Ooh.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, no, they're pretty notorious for being brutal. So like the more time that we take here, the more people they'll probably just eat.
Deep.
Yeah. So.
I just want to know: are we trying to fight them or like get in their good graces? I just need to know that.
So Bruenor, you do know
it's like Boba Fett.
The offer, they didn't necessarily say like come get yourself killed here or anything, but they did say that it's like you have the pleasure of being hunted by the Drowned Hounds. So it's like you do know somebody has made a deal, and he told you it was the Queen who made a deal with them that he would get an army for your death capture. That's to be determined.
Cool, and they are to the south, right?
Yes, he said follow the river to the south. Now you guys haven't actually followed that river to the south. You came from here. You followed the road to the west, past the Mirkwood back to Tilmore and all that. So this will
And
actually.
where's Nobbledeer?
Nobbledeer's to the north.
Can we just promise this guy double army?
Yeah, Bruenor, do you think there is something juicier we could offer?
I mean, honestly, you even said that they were becoming less popular, you were hearing. And so they're getting desperate, which means there's not much else other than power that we can offer them.
Is it more beneficial for us to try and find your sister in Namguldir? Pretty sure Shellfist is there too. And we've got Ubaru. But is there anything else?
Shrens there too.
There's also Boxo.
I owe
What
a
about
lot
Boxo?
of money. If we can visit Boxo along the way, I definitely got to pay that guy as promised. But
Oh, box. Sorry.
We'll probably want to know what's going on if they don't know what's going on already. But
Okay, well,
I fucking
Leave
hate
this-
crows.
right,
And I
same.
feel like
not
we're being
I'm just gonna
watched.
start killing crows. I'm gonna count them first, and then I'm gonna kill them.
Can I? I want to shoot an arrow at one of these fucking crows.
Yeah, Bruenor, you're kind of like, man, what the crap? You're like looking around, and you finally do spot like one crow rather than just the sound of it.
Damn it.
Man, I got the big one. Bruenor, you shoot your arrow at, you wield the Daughter of Ash granted you by Rial. You pluck an arrow away, and you see the arrow. It goes right through this crow, like through his body and out the other side. But you see a feather pops out, and the crow just disappears into the trees. But you see again one black crow feather just floating down. It lands in the river. You see it just kind of moving along, Now that there's no fish in the water, it seems strangely still. You wouldn't know the water was moving but for the ripples that, at the top of the water. But you watch as this black crow feather just floats wistfully down this little mountain stream. And then you see this electric blue tentacle splash out of the water and grab one of the crow feathers. And then you see it stretch out like a snake. And it gets right close to one of the Burakan children that's playing near the river. You see him, it looks at it and withdraws back into the stream. You hear the splash of the water. The crow's feather is gone. And that's where we're going to pick it up next time, guys.
Shit. Man, I told you birds aren't real.
Oh
Ooh.
my god.
This is bullshit.
Ooh. Oh, man. Oh, gosh.
Spicy.
BP. Oh, yeah. Let's have a drink. Great, great. Guys, holy crap. There's no lie, no story to this. I fucking love playing D&D with you guys, man. Every week, such a fucking blast. We are here, for all you wonderful people watching, we are here every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Pacific. Every Tuesday. These are some of my favorite people in the entire world, the greatest cast in the world, and I love them so much. We are Weed&d, and hopefully you had yourself a good time. My main joy in this is that people are watching this and are now starting to play D&D, maybe for the first time or with other people, and let me tell you, that's exactly what we wanted. So, thank you guys so much for being so wonderful. Thanks for making this thing as special as it is. And, hell, we got us a little ritual we like to do around here. Maybe you have heard about it, maybe you haven't. We like to take a lighter, stop the right one, the little lightning bolt, crit hit, lighter. Make sure we're not going to light any of our friends, family, or household pets on fire and go. Lighters up. Oh man, we fucking love you guys. Holy crap, we have such a crush on you. Guys, I think like I like the buds like more than a friend. Like I like.
So what? You can't touch me, 'cause I'm from the internet.